Hello, welcome back to the Superhero Show with Gav, not Chris. Chris unfortunately died.
Aww.
He didn't really. So we've had two campaigns on the show, one long-running, one short-lived.
Oh, yeah?
To cast actors that we thought would be good in the role of Iron Fist.
Who did you have?
First off, we tried to fist Dan Stevens.
Oh, I'd love to fist Dan Stevens.
And that was a popular movement.
He's brilliant,
Loads of people got on that.
He's very fistable.
Yeah, and then that fell through when he got attached to Legion. Last week we tabled a new candidate.
Oh, yeah?
A Fist Aaron Paul. So we unsuccessfully fisted two celebrities.
Yeah.
But this week, Finn Jones
Yeah.
has been officially confirmed as playing Danny Rand in Netflix's Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I think he's a good choice.
That's exactly...
See you next week.
No, that's exactly what my reaction was. It was like...
But none of the casting of the Netflix shows have been particularly, like, huge stars. There are people who've done TV work and...
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think when I saw the Jessica Jones casting, I was like, that's bang on.
But people who would...
Yeah.
Well, I guess Tennant is probably the most famous person in all of these shows,
Yeah,
really.
maybe. Yeah, I guess
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
He's probably done the most kind of big work.
Yeah, I
but
guess
Charlie
so.
Cox is like Boardwalk Empire, a few films. Kristen Ritter, mainly TV stuff.
Yeah.
Mike Holter, especially, not super well known.
No.
So Finn Jones, British actor, 27 years old.
Yeah.
Has to be a Brit, apparently, to play superhero.
Marvel do love like casting British people as a thing.
Those
people do, yeah.
No, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
As well as Superman. See that video? Oh, this is a bit of a digression. You seen the video where Henry Cavill's talking to little kids, trying to ask them who they prefer, Batman or Superman?
Yeah.
And he's trying to go, "You prefer Superman?" They're all like, "No, Batman."
Oh, what?
It's so weird seeing him with an English accent. He's so
he's
posh.
really strange.
Okay, so
Christian Bale, obviously, Welsh Batman.
yeah,
That was good.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it's good. We're taking over.
So Loris Tyrell is his most famous role, but everyone will probably know him for that.
Yeah.
Given everything else he's done.
The Flower Knight in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so his other stuff, he was on Hollyoaks Later.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know what Hollyoaks is,
Oh my God, Hollyoaks.
It's like a really cheap British soap.
Yeah.
Hollyoaks Later was the late night version. It was like a bit of a naughty version.
Yeah, it was loads of, like Hollyoaks Later. Was it called like Hollyoaks After Dark as well? Like at one point,
Maybe.
I think it was called as well. But basically, it means that they cast. If you don't know what Hollyoaks is, they cast a lot of sort of like models in it, and it basically meant that they could all take their tops off and do it. It was awesome. There was a threesome in one of the episodes. So, and that's just on telly.
Sarah Jane Adventures, The Bill, regular Hollyoaks, went back, put top on, Doctors, and then Game of Thrones. Movie career, very, like, nothing really to talk about. Wrong Turn 5, Bloodline. It made 5 Wrong Turn movies. Maybe even more, actually.
Stop taking the wrong turn.
Just buy a map, buy a GPS. And The Last Showing, horror movie with Robert Englund. So, you know, he's not done... Definitely Game of Thrones is the thing he's known for.
Absolutely,
and playing Loris Tyrell. And I think he is pretty good casting because...
You see his arse a lot in Game of Thrones. Is that why?
No. He's quite...
He's got a good arse.
He's
got a really
quite
good arse.
privileged in that show.
Yes.
And he's quite posh.
Yeah.
And Danny Rand comes... unlike a lot of the other cast of the Netflix shows, who are all very kind of... The British term would be working class, American term blue collar. Like, Matt Murdock is a working class kid. Danny Rand comes from privilege, but he's really good at fighting. Loris Tyrell, excellent at fighting, defeats Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
He's a Renly Baratheon's kind of representative on the battlefield.
Right,
so he is like very kind of posh.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they'll play into that. He comes from a world of privilege. And then obviously Iron Fist goes on this journey where everything gets taken away from him.
Yeah.
And he has to become a warrior.
Yeah.
Obviously they've not gone, oh, he's done that before. He could... Again, he's an actor. They can do lots of different things.
I do kind of get what you mean, though. Like, he plays like a privileged character in Game of Thrones, and he's really, really well known for that. And I would actually love to see that brought over to the Defenders, and kind of like, because, you're right, these people are like, you know, working class, like blue-collar people.
Yeah, the street-level heroes.
They're rough and ready, and then you bring this guy who's like super posh and put him in the middle of it. And I kind of like, that dynamic would be really fun, because they'll kind of, I'm assuming, dismiss him, and then obviously see what he can actually do. And actually, he's going to be one of the only ones who's had like really good training, except for Daredevil as well, but like had like, you know, proper training.
Yes, and that's the difficult thing with that show, and it's why, you know, there's been periods of speculation whether they were going to can it, whether they were going to turn it into like a movie for Netflix rather than a series, because so much of his origin story takes place overseas.
Yeah.
All those shows so far have been very New York. They shoot in New York, they make a big thing about that because it looks awesome. It's like, is it loads of flashbacks where he's in Kunlun, like learning.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know how they'll handle that, but I think the dynamic's going to be awesome with him kind of having a slightly different upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, Matt grew up in Hell's Kitchen. Luke lives in Harlem. It's going to be interesting to see him brought into that kind of ensemble.
I really like the idea as well of what they're doing is basically taking a long time with these like origin stories, but not doing them in like an origin story way, like sort of the Avengers sort of films have done.
Yeah.
But they're taking a long time, you know, introducing you to these characters and then all of a sudden chucking them together. You're actually going to be, even though you are really invested in the characters that you see, you know, you see like Cap, Iron Man, and Hulk, you really invest in these people. You're going to be way more invested in the people in the Defenders because you've spent way longer with them.
Yeah, by virtue of time.
Yeah.
But so, a talking point that we should address is that Finn Jones has got the role, and you know, obviously he's demonstrably white, and there was some speculation.
He's the whitest person ever. Like, you've got curly, lovely blonde hair.
There's a piece that Devin Faraci wrote, and he is like snow that's been covered in Tipp-Ex, covered in mayonnaise. Like, he is an incredibly white man.
Yeah.
And, you know, Danny Rand, the character, is white. But there was some kind of rumours, whether founded or unfounded, that, you know, they might have been considering making the character Asian American because in the comics and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there are no really prominent Asian heroes. You know, we're going to get a black hero. We've got a few black heroes. We've not got an Asian American or an Asian superhero.
Yeah.
And there was some wondering whether they would kind of flip the ethnicity of Danny Rand.
Right.
And while I see that, I think it's a no-win situation in a way because the character of Danny Rand is white.
Yeah.
And part of the character of Iron Fist is this Western man getting plonked in an Eastern world and kind of being that fish out of water story, similar to Doctor Strange, learning about a different way of perceiving the world.
Similar to Batman and the League of Shadows as well, sort of thing, like when he's like training with Ra's al Ghul.
And it's him learning about different culture, even though the culture in itself is an amalgamation of, you know, it's no specific...
A very racist amalgamation of everything Asian they know.
That is dated, you know, Asian culture is more than just Kung Fu. But that speaks to the time of when it was created. Side issue. Then I feel like if they made it an Asian American, the first superhero Marvel has is the Kung Fu dude. Which is equally weird.
Yeah, it's strange because, I mean, with all these characters, you can't, you know, they could do something interesting with it. Like, when I saw the casting, like, I'm not angry that they cast a white person, but I kind of thought, it's not exactly interesting, like, casting, I don't think. So maybe they could have, you know, gone a really diverse way and got it, but at the same time, maybe he's really good at it, do you know what I mean? But I think your point is valid, is like the first Asian person they have and be like, well, he's a master of Kung Fu. It's like, is that a little bit more racist?
Yeah, again, if you want to tap into the fact that he's super privileged, maybe that's a part of it as well. Like, he comes from this like really well-established white American family who are really powerful in New York. If they've been powerful for generations, chances are they're going to be white.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm not, you know, completely against the casting at all. I think I actually really, really like him as the Flower Knight, not just because he has a really nice arse. So.
And it should say, like, their casting is usually pretty good. Like,
I think so.
I think like Charlie Cox, fantastic. Everything we've seen from John Bernthal seems great.
Well, I think
same with Ritter and Coulter.
And I think
really
like
strong.
That kind of like, he's so different to all the people that they've got in Defenders at the moment. I think that's the interesting thing they've got. Like, I'm really looking forward to see the way that he works with those.
Yeah, I wonder, like, if they screen tested him with Luke Cage, Mike Coulter, because obviously they have, you know, they form the Heroes of Fire together. I imagine he's going to debut. They've made this announcement. They're still filming Luke Cage. He's going to debut in that show in some way.
Definitely,
Whether it's before he goes on his journey or whether it's when he comes back or something like that. But I think we'll see him in Luke Cage. I think Daredevil Season 2 is a bit soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, cool. So that's what we think of Finn Jones being cast as Iron Fist. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when we were discussing Deadpool, we had a competition to win 4 signed IMAX posters.
I can't believe we've got to give these away.
Yeah, they look so awesome. We've got 4 winners. So you got the first winner.
I have indeed. James Eels, who says, the panel in Hawkeye v Deadpool, where Deadpool says, Tony Stark told me I was a reserve Avenger and said, where's my Avengers ID? And then he said, we'll mail it to you. And I believed him. He's hanging his head and looks so disappointed. The way it's written just reminds me of an upset kid trying to explain what happened in the playground at school. He gets over it pretty quickly as he then steals Hawkeye's Sky Cycle and original purple costume, goes on a shooting spree. Love it.
Love shooting spree. This is from Tanroop. His favourite Deadpool moment is when Deadpool feeds Archangel parts of his own arm in Uncanny X-Force. Angel has just been taken out by one of the Force Horsemen, and acting like a doting mother, Wade cuts flesh off his own arm and feeds it to Warren. I love that the moment because not only was it one of the first times I'd seen Deadpool's depravity on display in the comics, I also thought it was oddly touching.
Yeah,
I mean, Deadpool supposedly feels pain, and yet he's literally carving chunks out of his own skin to save a guy he doesn't really know that well.
Yeah, no, I think
that's sweet.
I think it's a really perfect sort of encompassing of Deadpool because it's doing the right thing eventually.
In a very insane way.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Deadpool. The next winner, Henry Martinez from Texas in the US of A, says, my favorite Deadpool moments are absolutely ridiculous crossovers. Deadpool versus Carnage is an insane idea, and Marvel made that happen. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. How'd you kill a whole universe? Well, spoilers, have Deadpool kill the writers at the end. Oh, and Deadpool riding on Moby Dick's back and face off against Sherlock Holmes. Yep, that happened. I've included some photos from my own collection. Hopefully I win this contest, but if not, let's just spread the Deadpool love.
Yeah, lots of people suggested Deadpool riding Spider-Man's back in a very homoerotic fashion, and also Deadpool killing the Marvel Universe. We included Henry's because he attached pictures of him riding Moby Dick. This is from Connor Reed, final winner for the final poster, and his is the Deadpool one-shot, which is Baby's first Deadpool book, which is written as kind of a children's book.
Oh, amazing!
It's drawn like in a child's scroll, and it has kind of like nursery rhymes, and. So there's a scene where Deadpool crashes in the Andes with Blarney, the dinosaur.
Right.
Deadpool proceeds to convince Blarney that he should let Deadpool eat him because he's really hungry and he needs food. So he starts with his tail, then his arm, and the rest of him while Blarney, the dinosaur, sleeps. And the story ends with Deadpool bringing the stuffed dinosaur's head as a birthday cake for a bunch of children. So you won the final poster, Connor.
Nice.
Thank you for everyone entering. We had like hundreds of entries, and I'm sorry we could only pick 4, but we didn't.
Why didn't you pick mine?
Because that would be corrupt.
Right,
so those posters will be on their way to you. Any more feedback, let us know, superhero@ign.com. And until next week, for everything on Deadpool and all the rest, stay right here on IGN.